Sri Sri Anandamayi Mat ki jai. Bhavatap pranashinyai Anand ghanamurtai Jnana bhakti pradainyai Matastubhyam namo namaha. Matastubhyam namo namaha. Om Sharanam Om Sharanam Om Sharanam Om Sharanam Anandamayi Ma Anandamayi Ma Om Sharanam Om Om Sharanam Om Sharanam Om Sharanam Om Sharanam Om Sharanam Om Sharanam. So we know that whenever many times it was happening, whenever she was resting, it was said that Ma is in the room and she's resting, she's sleeping. So generally that time she would say that this time has been given for the subtle beings. So they would come and inquire or ask questions. So she's telling, this morning before 11 o'clock, I had not come out of my room. At that time, I saw that one of the yogis who live in subtle form in Vindhyachal came and stood before this body. He appeared in the dress of an ordinary human being, but I recognized him and said, "Oh, you are the same one." So for Ma, there is no other. So that's why she could recognize immediately that who has come. Ma said now, it is not difficult to recognize like this because all are his forms. So, where is the difficulty in recognizing? Ma said, see, when a seeker advances on the spiritual path through practice, even after reaching a high state, some desire or the other often remains. As long as there is a living being, that is a jiva, limited consciousness, this is natural. Is it not so, Baba? Gopi Baba, who is a great scholar, he's sitting and he said, yes, Ma, it can happen. Ma said, either the fire of knowledge burns all desires to ashes or they have to be fulfilled through experience. This fulfillment happens in the subtle world just as it happens in the gross world. So, my speaking about that when we are practicing on this spiritual path, the sadhana we are doing, still, even if we have reached a very high state, very evolved state, still there are desires remaining. Some vasanas, some unfulfilled thoughts are there. And they are the reason for the barrier. So she's speaking about this saint now who has come to her. Mother said, for example, in this world, someone desires to eat something and another person gives it to him. Yet what is given does not fully satisfy him, and the one who gives also does not give everything, fearing that it may all be finished. So there are one thing, like if we get something from someone, if we desire, suppose, chocolate, so there will be never, we will say, enough, now, no more in life. There is always a desire remaining, one more, sometimes, maybe tomorrow, maybe sometime. So there is desire remaining. It is never fulfilled. Then the one who is giving, she said, also it might happen that one, he might think, oh, if I give everything, nothing will remain with me. So keep something. So there is this state always. Then Ma said, in the same way, that great being had a desire to eat oranges. That subtle, the yogi who came, he had the desire to eat oranges. The oranges that were given to him were not enough, and the giver was not willing to give more. This all is happening in the subtle, my speaking. Then I said to him, all right, for 2 months, whatever oranges are offered to me, I will not accept them, give them all to you. So Ma said, okay. you have the desire to eat oranges. So whatever for 2 months desire will, the oranges will be offered to this body. This body will not eat, will give it to all to you. I did not say how many oranges I would receive in these 2 months. In any case, when I said this, he became satisfied. So this subtle being became completely satisfied. Because the Divine Mother herself is giving, who will not be satisfied? She is giving fully. So, saying this, Mother laughed and said, such events are seen again and again. Everything cannot be spoken about all the time. Then this author of this book, Amal Kumarji, he asked, Mother, it does not seem that this great being came to you merely to eat oranges. Perhaps he came seeking some spiritual power. Because to perform austerity only for eating oranges would be absurd. For so many years, he has reached such a high state and he just came to eat orange to you. Mother replied, you have not understood my point. Did I say that he practiced austerity for eating oranges? He had certainly practiced for the realization of the supreme truth. Then Amal Kumarji said, perhaps you mentioned the orange only as an example then. Ma said, no, this is not an example. This is a real event. It was happening. So I was astonished and began to think, where does desire finally end? Even after attaining a very high state in the realm of sadhana, and even after gaining the power to assume any subtle form, the remaining desire to eat oranges, such a trivial wish, and the need to fulfill it through experience is truly strange. In such high state one reaches, still the desires are lingering, still they are remaining. Then Amal Kumarji thought that there must be some deeper reason why Ma did that. So he asked Ma, please tell me the deeper reason why it all happened. So Ma said, that great being had not come to this body in order to eat oranges. He himself was not even aware that such a desire existed within him. Now she is telling the truth, that he doesn't know that there is something still which is stopping him. See, even such small desires become blockage. What about us? So many desires. So she's saying, pointed out that this great saint had just this desire, and he didn't know. He came to her to get the higher state, but that was the barrier, and she knew. It's amazing, huh? I saw it and made arrangements for its fulfillment. So we have seen many times, like once Ma was on Narmada, some bank somewhere on Narmada, and then there was a great lady saint. So, and she was for several years in silence and doing the amazing austerity, tapasya she was doing. So when Ma reached to her, she called her with such love, Ma, mother, mother, mother. And Ma's love was such that this lady saint really considered Ma as her daughter. And then she fell in love with Ma so much that she forgot the sadhana, she forgot everything. Then one day Didi, Ma's disciple, she asked that, Ma, why are you doing this? She was completely in the solitude. She was doing this sadhana very nicely. She doesn't meet anyone. And you came now, she has forgotten everything. And now she's just in love with you. Why you are doing that? And Ma revealed that truth, that when she came here, this lady saint, her daughter had died because of that pain, suffering. She came and she started doing the sadhana. So this thought, deeper, is still lingering in her head. Though she has achieved that much sadhana state, but still this thought is there. That's why Ma behaved just like I am your daughter. And when she is in love with Ma, so that particular desire will be gone. So like this, Ma was doing so many amazing help to all these beings. Now, there was a great scholar sitting next to Ma there. He asked, what is the difference between Param Tattva Purush, that is supreme consciousness, and Param Prakriti, that is supreme nature? between the nature and the consciousness. What is the difference? Undoubtedly, in essence, they are one and the same reality. Yet, when these two terms are used, some distinction must be applied. Sankhya, the yoga philosophy, Purush and Prakriti. So that's the question. What is the difference between the two? So the question is, what is that distinction? So Ma is saying, by Prakriti is meant all forms, shapes, varieties, and all powers whatsoever. Whatever we see, trees, creepers, leaves, cities, villages, different energies, all these have distinct forms. So this whatever we see that is perceivable through the eyes is Prakriti. These are nothing but the various manifestations of one power. Now she's saying about the Purush, the consciousness. The Purush aspect is the aspect of the unmanifest, the formless. In the scriptures, you find descriptions of many forms of Shakti, and you worship Shakti in different forms. Yet the infinite forms of Shakti are neither fully described in the scriptures, nor can they ever be completely described, because there are so many. They can only be known through direct experience. This infinite variety of forms and infinite power is what is called Prakriti. Know this clearly. And now she is saying, if Prakriti is realized in its fullness, then Purush is also realized at the same time. If Prakriti is fully realized, same moment, the consciousness is also realized. And if the Purush is realized in its fullness, then Prakriti too is realized along with it. For this reason, it is said, there is no Shiva without Shakti, and no Shakti without Shiva. Therefore, Har, Gauri, that is Shiva and Shakti, Ram, Sita, Radha, Krishna, and similar pairs are understood as inseparable dual forms of one reality. It's all one. Now, Swamiji is sitting next to Ma. He's also there. So he said, Ma, someone has told me that people are unable to understand the deep philosophical discussions that take place here. So it's too deep for Shiva and Shakti for us. We can't understand this all. Therefore, I will ask you a simple question. Please explain to everyone in simple language how one should offer pranam, prostration, how it can be done. In simple language, please tell us, simple way. Ma started laughing. Whatever pranam or prostration is done, in truth, it is oneself going to oneself. She is not changing from the state of non-dual. She is speaking from there. Nothing other than that for her. Huh? So she said, oneself is doing pranam to oneself. There is no other. Because there is nothing other than the one. People do not have this knowledge and consider themselves separate from God. Therefore, they bow at the feet of one whom they regard as supreme. But his feet are everywhere. God is everywhere. Wherever you bow, keep the feeling that you are bowing at his feet alone. There is no other. Then Narayan Swamiji said, why is pranam offered specifically at the feet? Why we are doing the pranam touching the feet alone? Ma said, it is said that the stream of divine power descends through the feet. Therefore, the practice is to bow at the feet. Because the Shakti is the natural. If you see, the water also flows from the higher to the lower planes. So it's like the Shakti is also descending. That's where the feet are touched. So that to gain the power, to gain the Shakti. Then Ma said, Namaskar, that is pranam, bowing, means pouring oneself out completely, emptying oneself. Completely, when you bow, you completely empty yourself. Nothing remains. What is pranati? Another name for the bowing. It is the bending of that head which stands upright because of ego. Why we pranam? Because this head is the ego, representing the ego. When bow down, so the ego is bent. The reason is that one should bow with the whole mind poured out. What happens by doing this? The mind disappears. That is, one attains oneness with the object of worship, with God. If even one namaskar, one time bowing, is done correctly, At that very moment, his light is compelled to manifest. At that very moment, the divine will manifest if it is done this way. Therefore, one should try to bow properly. That is why it is said that even if you can do nothing else, at least try again and again to bow at his feet with body and mind. If it is not always possible physically, then bow mentally. By doing this continuously, one day his light may be revealed. So if you cannot do like physically, if you suppose sitting, then mentally you can bow down. Now she is giving amazing way how to do it. God's grace is always flowing like rain, pouring like rain. It is always. But you have kept your vessel upside down, so the grace flows away. Turn your vessel upright and keep trying to receive that grace again and again. By doing this steadily, the day the vessel becomes full, his light will manifest. So my saying now, the method. Yesterday satsang, she told that when you do the pranam, look at the feet and looking up to the head and then again looking for the feet down. This is one way. Now she's telling the second way. When you get the opportunity, you may practice it and see for yourself. Generally, people bow quickly, touching their head to the ground and finishing it in haste. But the method I am now describing should be done slowly with attention to the breath. How it is done? The first step she is saying. Keeping your gaze towards the Guru or the deity to whom you are offering pranam, inhale. So the deity or the master or whoever you are connected with, just look at that divinity and inhale. This is the first step. And then at the same time contemplate that all the power from the Guru or the deity is flowing into you. With the inhalation, all the power is coming to you. When the breath is fully taken in, feel that now, this is the second step. When you have breath in, then now you have received the entire power of God or the Guru or the deity, and that you have become one with him. This is the state of kumbhaka or the meditation. So you hold the breath and feel that you are one with that divinity now. Third step. Yet even here the sense of I remains. Because the feeling is I have received all his power and become one with him. I have become one. After this, while exhaling, feel that all powers you received, along with your own self, are being offered at the feet of God and that you are merging into him. So with the third step, you completely, whatever the powers you got from the God or the me, whatever, you completely offer with the exhalation. This pouring out of oneself, this dissolution of ego and becoming one, this is true unity. That is why it is said that where sadhana begins, there it also ends. Receiving all power from God, this is the first, and then surrendering it back at his feet to become one with him. This is how you started and then you finish also with it. When you have the chance, you may slowly practice this method. So my suggesting us that please try to practice many times a day. Ma now giving her example, how she was doing. When the play of sadhana was unfolding in this body, I saw that during the offering of food and while bowing in pranam, when this body lay face down, a special inner state would arise when she would offer the food and then she would completely fall on the ground, do the pranam. The body would become completely withdrawn from outer awareness and remain motionless, sometimes for 3 or 4 hours. Completely, just like complete surrender. At that time, countless ants would come, not only eating the offered food, but also crawling over this body. They moved over it as if it were their own home. Even though innumerable red ants climbed upon the body, none of them ever bit it. Yeah, all ants are coming on her body and she's there, but nothing is happening. She is in that state. When consciousness returned, only then were they noticed. How they lined up and descended from the body was not clearly understood. And when she would come to consciousness, they will go slowly back. Seeing that much of the food offering had been eaten, there was no anger. Rather, the feeling arose that God Himself had accepted the offering in this form. So God has come in the form of these ants and ate the food. So this is Ma is telling us in a beautiful way how we should practice. We should do the sadhana. She said, if you cannot do anything, any other practice, at least many times in the day, just mentally just sit and breathe in, feel that all the powers of the divinity are coming into us. All the beautiful attributes you can feel, like the love, the oneness, all is coming into us, and then hold it, and then exhaling, merging back. All whatever this ego, whatever tensions, whatever worries are dissolving in the divine feet. Like this, she said, do it many, many times. It's a beautiful way. Try. Sri Sri Anandamayi Mat ki jai.